Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together. We are talking everything Disney and Universal. If you haven't had a chance, check out last week's podcast where we talked about our road schooling adventure in Orlando of 2024. And we talked about everything not Disney and Universal. And today we're going to be talking everything Disney and Universal. If you haven't had a chance, check out our new website where we're doing curriculum reviews, and we have the curriculum selector guide that we're going to be continuously updating. We're also doing a lot more curriculum reviews on YouTube, and it's going to be a long haul. So if we haven't covered the one that you're looking for, eventually we will. So we promise.
Yeah, but drop us a line. We'd love to hear the things that you want to see, and we are going to slowly just keep putting them out week after week, and we'll get there.
Eating the elephant one piece at a time.
Yeah, it's a lot to do.
A lot to do. And so anyway, let's talk about Disney and Universal. So last week we talked about all the parks that we did that filled up 80% of our trip. And then the 4 days where we spent an unholy amount of money. Should we start about Universal first?
Yeah. So I think,
no, we need to talk about apps.
Well,
and planning.
Okay, so we're covering this mostly because we know how many families are out there. You're looking to make a trip to the pilgrimage to Disney, and there's a ton to learn. There's a whole bunch of educational opportunities. We actually had a terrific podcast a little while back that we'll link in the show notes about all the ways to do homeschooling with Disney, and we'll talk with you through this episode about some of the great learning opportunities that we found as well. So just to kind of set the stage, this is for both of these, for both Universal and Disney World, we kind of determined a few things. First of all, there's a few universal truths about it. One of the main things is you have to decide what kind of person you and your family, what kind of camp do you fall into? You either fall into the camp of you're willing to do a lot of research and a lot of planning, and you're willing to strategize, and you'll spend some of your time on your phone, and you're going to try to work out this puzzle that is get my family around the parks to do the things we want to do without waiting forever in line. You're either, and you're going to get to see a lot and do a lot. That's either your jam, and that's totally my jam because that just planning's my love language. Yep. That's me. I like the strategy. I like that challenge. Or if that's not you, and that's going to stress you out a lot, then you have to be willing to accept that you will probably not get to ride everything. You and your family, mostly your kids, you got to accept that you might miss some things, and also you might spend quite a bit of time in line. And that's not that's not necessarily a bad thing. These lines are awesome. They do a really good job with them and stuff.
A lot of great theming.
And there's fun games and things, and we'll talk about waiting in line. But you just kind of have to accept. You can't just show up in the morning to Disney and say hey, we're going to get to go on all these big rides today. We're going to get to do all the things we want to do.
Pull out the analog map. Where are we going first, kids?
Oh, hey, let's do that Big Thunder thing. And then expect that you're just going to get to go on these rides and get to do all the things you want to do.
The Big Thunder thing.
We heard a lot of families. So you can't just walk in and say, yeah, we're going to do the things we all want to do and have a good fun day, and let's all just be loose about it, because the parks are just too busy for that. Yeah. That was probably true 15 years ago. When we used to live there 17 years ago, you could go on a down day, quote unquote.
We used to have the weeks that the locals went. In Florida, when we were there in the late 90s, early 2000s, A lot of the locals went in end of January, early February because the parks were empty.
Right. So
That is not true anymore.
Yes, this is the thing to tell you. Like, the parks are always crowded. It's just a matter of how crowded they are. So you've either got to just really plan and be very into that, or you have to be willing. You and your family got to be willing to go with the flow. Hey, we're gonna see what we're gonna see. We might miss some things, and that's okay. And we're just happy to be here and do what we can do. You just kind of have to fit into one of those camps, because if you don't, and you try to strategize and plan, but that's going to stress you out, or you are a family who doesn't want to plan, but you're going to get really upset. You're not going to get on all the rides. Your kids are going to be upset. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I think that's the thing that I really realized is you have to kind of assess, where am I at in this space with this? Because you can't just say, no problem, we're homeschoolers, we're going to pick the lowest day of the year and we'll go walk on any ride we want. It doesn't exist at this point. I really wish it did. That would be awesome. But it doesn't. So you certainly can do better on the days. If you use something, a website that I really, there's two websites, Touring Plans and Undercover Tourist.
Well, let's talk about the apps first.
Well, I just want to talk about this really quick.
Okay, yeah.
So Undercover Tourist and Touring Plans both have crowd calendars.
Yeah, that's right.
Undercover Tourist I like better because without paying for anything, you can see the crowd calendars out a year in advance.
That's true.
And this helps you plan when to make your trip.
And they pull historic crowd
They
data.
pull all the data, and they also pull the data of like, oh, there's a special event going on this day.
Yeah, you never know. Could be something like, you might be going to Hollywood Studios on May the 4th and you don't realize it.
Right. All the Star Wars people are there. Yeah. So they're going to help give you an idea when you're planning your trip, when you can go and try to make, they make like recommendations on each day, which parks to see. Yeah. This only, they only do Disney parks, Universal parks, and SeaWorld. Yeah. So they're not going to do Legoland or anything else. So this is all you got. So initially, that's how you kind of plan when to go, is you can try to, there's days you're never going to get to like perfect. Just, and then know what kind of family you are and person you are and how everybody feels about it. Once you've got that going in, then you're good. Then you're ready to kind of start this exercise. So,
it really is.
It is. It's a thing,
it
right?
Is.
So if you're going to go for the totally like flexible, we're going to show up, you can watch the videos and you can just kind of walk in with a sense of wonder and enjoy. And that's great. I am not that way because I'm not wired that way. And so I totally went the other planning route. So what I'm going to talk about is not the freewheeling flexible because we're not that way. And our kids would have been upset.
But I think
if we missed some things.
there's a lot to be learned that you can implement without bringing, the heavy planning aspect into the freewheeling thing. There's a couple few things you can do. Absolutely.
So initially, even if you're going to be the freewheeling family, you can arrive at rope drop. We talked about this on the last episode. If you are there when the park is open, you're late, to be there early. So if you don't necessarily have a plan, but there's a couple things your kids super care about, like they want to go on Peter Pan's flight so badly, and if you missed that one, they're going to be super bummed. Get there before the park opens. So for the Magic Kingdom, they let you into the whole Main Street area and up to the castle like a half hour before the park opens. Mm-hmm. There's like a little show 5 minutes before it opens, and then they open the rest of the park.
There's some parks that don't do that, which we learned.
So we'll talk a little bit. So Magic Kingdom is one that lets you all the way in. So you can get there a half hour in advance, use the bathrooms, rent your stroller, whatever you need to do.
Do all the things,
Do all the things and get all the way up to the castle. And then when they let you in at 9 or 8 or whatever time it opens that day.
Also check when the park opens, because there were different days that had different times.
There were. And the days, we went on a Magic Kingdom day that opened at 8 a.m.
Yeah, it was early.
That was actually much better because there was a lot of families that just couldn't get up and go in quite that quickly.
That's right. We're super advanced. We're the Navy SEALs.
It was an early morning for all of us. But you can get all the way up there, and then you can go. And so if you don't want to plan a bunch, but you just want to go on a few things you really care about, then get there early, and then you can go do those couple of things in the first hour or two.
But the thing is, you're not going to beat the people who are actually staying at on property.
So there's a bunch of Disney resort hotels. There's a few Disney resort hotels. If you stay at one of those, you get in a half hour early, which is really good if you have a plan. You can run around and maybe get in like 2 rides, maybe 3 before
yeah.
people all get there. So that's cool. It's only select Disney hotels. I'm expecting the more expensive ones.
Yeah, probably.
Then you get in early. It's not every park every day. So
Yeah.
again, the crowd calendar often will tell you what parks you get in early. Epcot will also let you in to the area by the big ball before the park actually opens, before the rope drops. They'll let you into that area to use the bathrooms. And actually, there were no bathrooms there, but there were stroller rentals.
Stroller rentals were there.
Hollywood.
And we'll get into stroller
Yeah, we'll
rentals.
get into that.
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios will not let you in.
No, it's a gate.
Yeah. So you've got to get there like a half hour in advance to get in line to then get in through the gate when the park officially opens. We didn't do Animal Kingdom. I can't speak for that one, but you'll find it online whether it opens or not. Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure also let you in, and then they hold you at the bridge before you go into the parks. So it's nice to know these ones that let you in and the ones that don't let you in because
booping your entry pass takes a while.
Well, and going through security.
And going through security and
So
all that stuff.
it's really great when one of these parks will let you in early because you can do that. You can
SeaWorld let you in early. Aquatica did as well. Legoland didn't. You were right at the gate.
So the ones where you have
they
to
let
wait,
you through security, but it's not the validation of your ticket.
right?
Yeah.
So ones that let you in early, it's really nice because it gives you an opportunity to kind of like regroup, sunscreen everybody, get those little kids to go potty. You know, maybe you look through a few stores in the morning or whatever.
Sneak your way in closer to the rope.
Yeah, you don't have to be in this long line. And a lot of people, once they get in, they're doing all kinds of, they're going to the Starbucks to get coffee and they're doing a bunch of other stuff. And you can, like, we got into Disney. We weren't there right when they opened the Main Street area, but people were milling around. We got like right up front for the opening castle show thing
awesome.
with the princesses right there. Our 4-year-old was like ecstatic.
She was like crying. Yeah.
It was so excited. So some of these places will let you in early. So if you're definitely a go with the flow kind of family, if you can get there, if you can get there at that point, you can probably do the couple of things you really care about
Before the real pressure.
before the pressure gets in, and then the rest of the day you can just let it go. So that's one.
No, say it through. Say it.
Let it go.
Oh.
Yes, the Frozen sing along was like one of our favorite moments. So that's a good thing if you don't want to do the ultimate planner route, which I understand is totally not for everybody. I'm a weirdo.
I love you for your weirdness.
Thank you. The other thing that will really help the Go with the Flow families is mobile ordering. It's on the app.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about the apps. Every park has an app.
Every park
Legoland,
has one.
SeaWorld, Aquatica.
You got to get the app because
Gotta download the app.
the app tells you where everything is.
It's so amazing.
It helps because it's got even if you can't mobile order your food, it gives you a menu that you can talk about with your family so that you don't stand up there. You wait in line for 10 minutes and everyone's staring at the same menu and then you get to the front and they're like,
Don't be that people.
I don't know what I want.
I want the hockey puck hamburger, please.
Right. So the app's great because it'll tell you what's on the menu. You can look at that. You can make sure it's something your kiddos are going to want to eat. But some of the menus allow mobile ordering, and at Universal and at Disney, they will tell you which ones do.
So impressive.
The mobile ordering is worth its weight in gold because what you do,
You're saving minutes.
well, it's, you know,
Think about how much time you save. Like you order 3 or 4 things during the day. You go wait in line 10, 15 minutes to order the food.
Yep.
You've blown an hour. It all adds up.
well, right. And so, and you have people that don't know what they want or their families are still giving them orders.
Don't be those people.
The great thing about mobile ordering, you're in line for a ride or something, you get on your phone, you order all the food you want, you select a pickup window, like of time, like, oh, I think in a half hour. And you can change this time later, by the way. Mm-hmm. And they don't actually make your food until you get closer to the restaurant and you tap, like, I'm here, make my food. And then they do, and they buzz your number and you walk up to the pickup window and just grab your food.
That's amazing.
It is.
And you can pay through your credit, like you're using Apple Pay through.
Paid right through my phone. It was incredibly easy.
Mm-hmm.
So the mobile ordering is definitely the way. So even if you don't want to do the crazy planner route, definitely.
First of all, if anyone's out here listening, happens to stumble upon, all you IT people working for these, you're in the data servers. I know you're working the code and all this stuff, working on these parks. Man, you guys have done a great job. Oh, yeah. It is so
They're really
tech
good.
friendly. It's amazing.
They're really good.
Thank you guys.
So the apps are fabulous. They'll help navigate you and definitely mobile order your food.
They also
if
have
you can.
information on the parks, wait times and stuff like that. So it's always
they'll
helpful.
tell you when the next shows are.
And how to get places. Like the one in Legoland was really cool. Like, I got to get to the dragon ride. I'm here. Give me directions on how to get there, and it paints the path on the
They
the
did
park.
the same thing in the Disney app.
It's amazing.
I believe in the Disney app.
Yeah.
It was great. So those apps are really, really awesome. I think, unfortunately, with the Legoland app, you can't navigate that one before you're actually in the park to play with it.
Only one that let you do.
But
that
the
didn't let you
other
do that,
ones you can, like SeaWorld and Disney and Universal. You can play with those apps before you get there. I highly recommend that you get really familiar with those apps so that when you're there and everyone is hungry,
just having the geography in your mind and knowing where you are in relation to things. Again, I say this about homeschooling all the time. If you save like 10 or 15 minutes here, 10 or 15 minutes here, and that adds up over time. Being able to be in these parks and go, oh, we're in Tomorrowland. We need to get over to Fantasyland or whatever. It's right over there. Like, we got to go that direction.
Yeah, because the other thing is there's a ton of crowds and there's, it's so busy that it is disorienting. So the more you can kind of get yourself familiar with the map
the parks are not
earlier.
laid out like a grid. They're more freeform and organic in their layout. So it's like, sometimes it's like, do I take a left here or do I take a right here? It can be a little confusing.
It definitely can. And they're very busy. So if you can get familiar with the app in advance, that will really help you to know. And then you can be ready to look at wait times. The other thing is you can kind of take a look, before you go at like what the average wait times are for things.
Exactly.
We were able to say to, our daughter, hey, this ride, we're not going on it. We were able to just tell her, like, this is not one we're doing, because the line was, it was a virtual queue, and it was also because her sister couldn't ride on it because she was not tall enough. So, but this helps you set expectations with your kiddos too. Like, or if there's like 3 big rides that all end up having long waits all day, you might talk to them and say like, which one of these 3 is the one that you really want to go on? You can watch ride videos on YouTube, and maybe that might help you kind of set everybody's expectations so that because it's very exciting for the kids. They want to do it all.
Especially when you get the 2 princesses and they're walking around the park. They're all dressed up. They want to see everything. They can get very excited.
So it was nice in advance to kind of set that expectation.
Yep.
The other expectation that we set this whole time, from the time we watched videos at home before we even left for the trip to when we were there, was that they were each going to get a souvenir at the end of the night before we left.
This was so brilliant.
Because otherwise you'll get stuck in every store all the way along with your kid asking you for stuff, which is what our 4-year-old still tried to, but Mommy, I might want this later.
Why do you want to buy the doll at 9:00 and then haul it for 8 hours?
Right.
No way.
And Disney
we saw people doing that.
I think Disney used to bring them up to the front for you, but I don't think they do anymore. Anyway, I didn't want to worry about it. I just told the girls, we got in early to the park I let them walk through like the Main Street Emporium in Magic Kingdom.
Another reason to get there early so they can kind of scope out the souvenir that they wanted.
Also, we'll talk a bit about Disney Springs too, but Disney Springs has a big World of Disney store that they can go to, and we let them pre-shop there. So we said, hey, why don't you shop through Disney Springs, go look at the store, look at what souvenirs you might want on the days we go to Disney. So they were already kind of primed about like what they liked, because the last thing you want is like an indecisive kid at the end of the night. They're tired. And in this way, they both were kind of like, oh, tonight I'm getting this doll.
But also we don't get I want to get this. I want to get this. It's like,
constantly.
At the end, what was our line? We kept saying, at the end of the night, you will be able to buy a souvenir. And it just shut down any type of, I want.
And it was funny because we said the same thing so often that the kids would actually pick it up mid-sentence and, at the end of the night. They would be halfway
asking. They go, I remember the little one, she's like, oh my God. No, at the end of the night, I get it.
That's right.
Seeing a 4-year-old echo that to you. It's very
we
funny.
gave them like a price limit so that it wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
But that also was another reason why Disney Springs was helpful, because it was a good way to like set their expectations.
So going into these parks, we did a number of things. We watched, obviously, the Carissa videos. We watched the Frugal Brit videos. But we stumbled upon another YouTube channel that was really helpful, which was the Disney Food Blog, especially with around...
Yes.
Because you can't, Disney, you can bring in your own food, but there is a lot of decent food at Disney. And it was nice to be able to try different things. And we stumbled upon this channel called the Disney Food Blog.
And we'll put a link in the show notes.
We'll put a link in the show notes. It was extremely helpful. She has some really good videos on like snacks under $10 and meals under $10. She did this great thing. She kept showing people and reminding people, you can order the kids' meals that are cheaper, that are actually fairly large. Their portions are a little bit more controlled. If you just want to kind of share a meal with a couple people, and we did a lot of meal sharing. This was like, we don't normally do this where everyone gets their own meal and nobody touches anything, but we shared a lot of stuff at these parks, and it was fun because we could just try a bunch of things. And this Disney food blog was really helpful. We watched a bunch of videos. We took a bunch of notes. Again, we looked in the app where the food places were, where we would get these. We had in this, Tomorrowland, you can get the
Right.
cream cheese filled pretzel and
Right.
blah, blah,
You
blah.
had a whole list, and
Yeah.
you were like, so
So when we were in that area, we were like, are we hungry? Yeah. Snack time. Okay, great. Well, what is available here? Oh, here, and here.
right. And then I would be like, oh, cool. I'll mobile order that after we get off Space Mountain, and then it would be ready for we'd go down afterwards, and it was ready.
That was super helpful.
It was fun. So yeah, all the Disney parks do allow you to bring in food, which is awesome. But yeah, like you said, whereas I feel like SeaWorld just has really just typical boring like hockey puck burgers, right?
Yeah.
And you can get some of
Disney has a lot
Disney
of that.
has some of that too, but Disney also has some really unique themed food, and some of it was quite excellent.
It was.
We had some, and the value at Disney, while still expensive for the food, it was more expensive at SeaWorld.
We found
what you got.
We split a few meals because we were kind of munching throughout the day.
Yeah.
We go to Casey's Corner at the end of the night and get a foot-long hot dog.
Which is super good.
It was super good, chili dog. We just split it in half and basically had a hot dog, and I was like, okay, that was pretty good.
So one of the things that I liked about the snacking through the day philosophy was that nobody was ever over full and getting sick on a ride or sick in the heat.
Yeah.
Or anything like
and
that.
especially us, pasty Northwesterners, and we're not really used to the sun. The issue of the heat and liquids and fluids and making sure everybody's drinking enough and making sure everybody has enough sunblock on was a big thing to hopefully keep everybody happy and feeling good.
And I can say we were there a full month and nobody got sunburned on any single day,
I can't believe we did that.
which is kind of a miracle.
But we were setting timers. We were like 90 minutes.
We
gotta put
were,
more
because
on.
we've burned before.
Yeah.
So one of the things about water, let's talk about that a little bit. There are fill
And
stations.
this is true for almost all the parks. Pretty much all the parks we
Right.
went to. Yeah.
So Disney, Universal, they all have fill stations. They are not everywhere though.
They are hard to find.
They're kind of few and far between. So when you're studying that map the night before,
Do the drop down and find the water. and
find all
bathroom
the
stations,
water. Yeah, the bathrooms are easy. There's tons of bathrooms, but the water, like half the time you'd have to use a water fountain. But the actual water bottle refill stations, take some notes in your app or somewhere, or mark it on the map if you print one out, that's where those are, because they're hard to find. So we took in several water bottles. If you have collapsible water bottles, those would work even better. But if you have these water bottles you can take in, one of the things we did was we took either Crystal Light packets or Gatorade packets or little Mio
little squeezed flavorings.
to flavor the water, because we have one of our kids is not, the older one is just, she won't drink enough and she'll get herself dehydrated if it doesn't have any flavoring. And so we were like, so rather than pumping them full of soda or juice or something else, we just, and we liked doing that because we could add the level of flavoring. So we didn't have to make them like super sweet and sugary tasting, but they just gave it enough flavor that everybody wanted to drink.
Yeah.
So I liked that we could dial that in, because if you're dependent, if there's one thing that is exorbitantly overpriced at all these parks, it is drinks.
Yeah,
They will charge you out the nose for drinks.
Unbelievable. And they have the water refilling stations for the bottles, and they're very few and far between. The most noticeable one was in Tomorrowland, inside the food court. They had a couple of them in there. But
Mostly they're hard to find.
what was really helpful is we got a couple like small little water Dixie cups, and the water fountains are more plentiful.
Right.
And we were just sitting there using the water fountains to fill the containers.
Right. One thing we learned is when you go to pick up your mobile order of food, you can ask them for water cups, and they will give you water, like kid-sized cups with ice water in them.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get those cups, save them for later, but you can also just get water anytime you want with any of your meals without having to order a bottle of water.
And I don't want to say, but we're kind of water snobs up here in the Northwest because we got really good water up here, and the Florida water has a little bit different flavor to us. So it was,
The water in the parks was all really
the water
good,
in the parks was fine. In our condo, we had to use some filters and stuff like that, but
Yeah, that's
water in the parks was fine and everything. But we're just so used to
The water is not extremely cold in the parks, though, so be aware.
That's
One of the things we did do was we bought a cold bag that was freezable. It was
this thing worked wonderfully.
right. We'll put a link in the show notes. It's a freezable lunch bag, and so we were able to freeze that, and then we were able to put some sandwiches in there, so that we knew we would have those in case we weren't in a position to go get something. Or also, like, our sandwiches were like ham and roast beef sandwiches and things that had meat, that protein. And we had some like cheese sticks and stuff like that. Because one of the things you'll find at a lot of the places in the parks is you're going to end up eating a lot of salt and a lot of sugar. So
A lot of carbohydrates, a lot of salt.
yeah, if you want to keep some protein in there for your family, that was really nice. We were able to just put that in your backpack.
Yeah, nuts and berries. Yeah, and things
Disney
like
is
that.
great about backpacks. You're able to take a bag on
I
just
saw
about
people
everything.
with the rolling carts, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, but you can take a backpack on most everything. I don't know about I don't think Tron can.
Tron,
but
I don't think
we
so.
didn't go on Tron, but we went on everything else at the Magic
You can put your
Kingdom.
backpack on those.
You
Yeah.
can put your backpack everywhere.
And they have little holders for sunglasses and hats as well, right in
your
front,
phone.
and your phone as well. So they, unlike some of the bigger rides on Universal or things like at SeaWorld where you don't want to take your backpack, at Legoland they had little cubbies that you could put your bag on, and they had people watching it. So that was kind of different. But at Disney World, you're right, the bags can go on every single ride.
Right. So don't be afraid to bring a backpack.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't pack something too heavy because you're going to lug it around for
Yeah, right.
all day. But be aware of that. Other Universal things, Universal, other things that are important to remember. They'll tell you how many miles you put on your feet. It's absolutely true. You got to be walking around in tennis shoes that are well broken in for you and your family. Don't walk around in sandals. Just don't do it. We each put like 26,000 steps a day for all of our park days.
And we're steps people, and that's pretty high.
It was a lot of steps.
It was like 20. I think it was like 24, 26, and 28. It was a lot.
It was a lot of steps. It was a lot of steps for us, a lot of
And
steps
that's
for
like,
our kids.
Ballpark mile wise, it's typically 2,000 steps a mile. Typically is what you're looking at. So
Yeah.
we were 14 miles.
So really that comfortable shoes. One thing that I can't speak highly enough for is Moleskine. If you've never used Moleskine, you just cut out little squares of it. We were able to stick them on the back of our heels before we got any kind of a heel, rub area from all those times. And so I had them on, the kids had them on, and we never had a problem with our heels getting sore and raw. So that was a big one. If you haven't used Moleskine before, it was awesome. I'll put a link in the show notes. So that was really good. Stay hydrated. Obviously, there's really pretty good shade at the park, so you're doing okay. If you can wear hats, that's good, and sunglasses.
There's a lot of good shade at Disney. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, just be prepared for that. So on the kiddos and the walk-in side, Magic Kingdom is one where our personal opinion, and many people differ, but our personal opinion is if you can carry your child, do, because the stroller game is intense at the Magic Kingdom. There are just so many people and so many strollers, and there's stroller parking and stuff, but man, there was times when we were very glad that you could put our child on your shoulders.
I carried the 5-year-old, almost 5-year-old around that park the whole day on my shoulders. Yeah.
Right. Now, that's not for everybody because they're heavy and stuff. So be aware that it's a lot of walking for little legs. If you have to go for the stroller, it's like $15 a day to rent one at
It's
Disney.
not that expensive. Yeah.
You can do one. So if your child is too heavy to carry, but also too small to walk, go for the stroller at Magic Kingdom. But if you could baby wear your child instead of stroller, that is at the Magic Kingdom at least a good way to go.
Yeah.
You might get hot, but it's definitely positive because it's just so crowded and difficult to maneuver a stroller around.
Yep.
So those were kind of big things about Disney. One thing to note is you basically will never get Disney discount tickets.
No.
You might get like adult at child price, and that's about as good as it gets. And the child price is usually like $10 less than the adult price. Maybe they're going to run some killer promotion and you're going to get a deal, and I'm very happy for you.
You waited, I think, months and months and months.
I waited
and
like 6 months.
Nothing ever came up. Yep.
Even at Black Friday, it was like child price, So Disney's really pricey. It's very expensive. And so
We ended up getting the 3 park pass.
we got the 3-day. We did not do a park hopper because that's just
No.
that was way too busy for us. So we did that, and then you get your multiple days. Well, let's say it's 3, but you have to use them within a period. So we got 3 days. We had to use it within a period of 5. So you can't really extend it and get like lots of days off in between.
Yeah.
We highly recommend days off in between.
Well, I would recommend a day if you do Magic Kingdom. Probably do that up front and then take a day off, because that was a really big day for us.
Yeah, whenever you do the Magic Kingdom, that's the one that you need to have rested well the day before and rest well the day after, because that is the biggest one. We did the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. We didn't do Animal Kingdom.
It's so far to get to it because if you haven't been to Magic Kingdom, you get to the parking lot and then it's like a really long walk to get to the gate. And then you get to the tram or you get to the boat, you get across, and then you got to get into the park, and then you get down Main Street. It is, you've already logged 2 miles just getting to the park, and then you got to get home at the end of the night if you're staying for fireworks. Should we talk about fireworks?
Well, we'll get there.
My goodness. It's a long day, especially when we showed up at 7:30 and you're going all the way to like 9:30. That is a long day.
It was a long day.
It is a long day.
So it was a wonderful day. We originally thought it was going to take 2 days to do the Magic Kingdom.
We were planning on that, yeah.
So I got these unofficial guides, and I will link them in the show notes for both Disney and Universal. I grabbed these books, and they were invaluable books as far as knowing what to expect going there. It's a lot of reading, but you really get a sense of what to expect, what you should do. They give you an idea of kind of order to do things in and stuff, depending on if you have little kids or what. They'll give you reviews of all the different resort hotels and the restaurants and all of that stuff. So I will link those books because you absolutely should get those. Now, those books are made by a company that is touringplans.com, and I'll put a link to that too. And they have an app called Lines, and they have one for Disney and they have one for Universal. So Touring Plans sells an annual subscription, and you get a discount on it if you've bought the book. And it's like, I want to say it's $30 for the whole year. And then if you want to add they only do Disney World and Universal. They don't do any other parks. And if you want to add the other, like say
Disney, the Disney parks, all 4 of them.
Right. And I think they do Hollywood stuff too. So if you want to go to California and do Disney and Universal there, I believe they do the same. But this one is like all 4 Disney World parks, you could get this $30 a year subscription. And then if you want to add Universal to that, it's like $8 more. And then I got a discount on it. And it ended up, I think, costing me $30 for both of them because I had the books. And what this gives you is on the app, it gives you the ability to make a touring plan. You can see some of their touring plans, but you can also make your own. And what the touring plan is it's an opportunity for you to say, I'm going to go to Magic Kingdom on this day. I'm going to get there at this time. And these are the things I want to do. And I want to either minimize waiting or I want to minimize walking. And I want to take a lunch break at this time. And I want to take a snack break at this time, within 30 minutes either side. You can kind of give some flexibility. And it will build your day for you. And it will tell you exactly what order to do things in. And it's basing that off of, like it said, like 14 years worth of line data. And on each date, how long things took. And it will build for you a plan, and it'll tell you how long you should wait in line, how far you got to walk, how much you'd wait. So for us, we did kind of a balance between minimizing waiting and walking because we don't want to wait too long because we got the little one, but we also don't want to walk too much because we got the little one. So we wanted a mix. And I was able to say what shows I wanted to see, what restaurant, if I really wanted a specific one at lunch, I could tell them.
The princess meet and greets.
Yep, we want to meet Elsa, whoever you want to meet, you can put that in there, and it will tell you what order to do it in. You can make them as complex or as simple as you want, but it will give you a general flow to the day. I will say I didn't follow them exactly. They weren't perfect.
There were more guidelines. Yeah.
They were guidelines.
It got your day started, I think.
but they continue to update through the day
You
as
can
the
just re-optimize all the time. Yeah.
right as the lines change. As you've done something you want to do, you click done, and then it will say, "Oh, I see you're here now," and it'll redo it for you and say, "Go here."
Yeah.
To me, there was something very comforting about opening the app. Instead of looking at the whole park and saying, all right, well, this has this weight, this has this weight, I could just look at my plan and say, it says next we go to Winnie the Pooh. Let's go. And so I just went and did it. So that's part of the app where
It's
it has
almost
all
like
that.
you're a digital guide to help
It
you
was
through.
a digital guide.
It was almost like one of the check-marked VIP guides that
No,
we saw all
not
over
exactly.
the place. $500 an hour, yeah.
So there's that side of it, which was really helpful. Not perfect. I'm not claiming it's perfect,
No.
but it was very helpful.
And it was also pulling kind of real-time data on the wait times. And
That's the other part of the app. Those two parts together. So you've got the plan.
but like a lot
That's
of
the part.
the wait times are sometimes either right or very wrong.
So a lot of the wait
And
times
very
are,
wrong in either direction.
yeah, a lot of the wait times are fiction.
Lies.
They are lies. They are lies. So the app tells you, because it's kind of like, you know, how Google Maps, they give you the travel data based on everybody's cars going through all these areas, and they know how fast people are moving, and they know there's traffic.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, except people using this same app are saying how long they're really waiting in line. So, for example, in the Magic Kingdom, when the rope dropped, we went to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train ride because we knew it was the longest wait in the park. We wanted to do it first. The posted wait time was 60 minutes. My app told me it was 17, and we waited
18.
Yep, 18, and we got on the ride. So that was totally incorrect. And we saw that over and over again. But we also saw it the other way, where the posted weight was 15 and the app was like, ooh, no, that's actually 35.
Yeah, they haven't updated something or whatever.
And what's worse than getting in a line with your kid who is like, 5 minutes after you get in line, it's like, I might have to go potty. And you're like, well, it's okay. The line's only 10 more minutes. We'll be all right, right? Instead, that line's actually 30 more minutes and you have no idea.
Yeah, right.
Or your kid's hangry. I mean,
Managing the potties, my goodness.
right. Yeah, just like, we always pottied before
We had
rides.
fluids going in, fluids going out. It was a whole thing.
Well, and you have to make sure that nobody, even though we bought a lot of snacks in the park,
Yeah.
we made sure that we had snacks with us. We had protein bars and we had trail mix, and we could give that child something to eat at any time. And we made sure that we kept feeding her all day, just a little bit.
She's like a furnace. Yeah. You just got to keep feeding
She
her.
kind of grazes. But we did keep feeding her, not so much she was going to get sick or anything, but just so she would never be hangry.
Yeah.
Because a hot and hangry preschooler is not what we wanted. So,
Hard pass on that one.
we just kind of kept like making sure she was nibbling so she wasn't getting too hungry. So yeah, so between the touring plan, and the real wait times, those real wait times were incredibly helpful because we could see, maybe my touring plan said to do this. Well, I don't know if I agree with that, or we don't want to do that right now. We're not ready to do that. It's really hot outside, for example. I want to choose something with
and
air
I don't
conditioning.
want to go stand out in the sun in Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Right. At this point, I want to go to Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, something air conditioned, right?
Air-conditioned,
I want to go to an air conditioned ride. I can look on the app and say, what are all the real wait times? And not only does it tell you the wait times, but it tells you ride now or wait
Yeah.
or ride anytime. Like it'll be this way all day. Additionally, if you click on the ride, it will give you a forecast through the whole day. And it gives you this
amazing.
little scatter plot kind of thing.
Bar graph type of thing.
And it'll show you like,
it comes down at like 5:00. That's when we decided to go to Thunder Mountain Railroad
Right.
at the end of the day. Yeah.
we decided like, hey, Thunder Mountain it keeps going up. And I looked, I'm like, hey, at like 7, it's going to go down. We'll just do it then. And we just waited because we knew. And I have to say, for the most part, it was pretty darn accurate.
Yeah.
The only place that we found it wasn't accurate was at Hollywood Studios because everybody crushed into that Star Wars ride.
Yeah. They had no idea.
And they didn't.
There's a moving goalpost on that one.
Those
yeah.
couple of Star Wars rides, it didn't do a good job with those. And I wonder.
It was that first crush of everybody arriving. It just had no idea.
Do you think that some part of it has to do with the amount of data? Because those are newer rides.
They might be a little bit more. Yeah.
So I don't know, but that was the only point where it wasn't accurate, and we did wait an extra like 20 minutes on those rides.
But this app that you were constantly running on, it wasn't like you were constantly looking at it. You were managing it kind of while we're in line. You just kind of like opened it, refreshed it. another thing is kind of a corollary to this, because you're using the apps and your phone so much in these things, and we'll get into the fast pass lanes and everything about that. But because you're using your phone so much, having a battery backup in your backpack that you can just quickly plug into to get a little bit of juice while you're waiting in line or you're eating lunch or something, your phone will never die on you. It's a big plus to get like a nice big brick, because a lot of times you're two of you, like, because we were both running apps on our phone at the same time, and I was checking about where we were and checking this type of thing while you're out doing this thing. It was really nice to be able to charge our phones in our backpacks while we're having some downtime or whatnot, especially with a super duper pro tip we'll have at the very, very end about, waiting in lines and doing things. So
yeah. So the other thing is that there is a battery backup rechargeable. It's an exchange thing that they have in all these parks. It's a specific kind. I'll link it in the show notes from Amazon. But basically you buy it, and once you've purchased it, if you're in the park, you go and you just exchange it and get a new one. It doesn't cost you anything.
Or it's like $4 or $5 or something.
No, I don't think it costs you anything.
Okay.
I think it's free
Okay.
if you own that battery backup. So you can either buy one fresh there, or you can just exchange your spent one for a fresh one.
We had just
that's charged.
We had the Anchor, 10 million.
We bought one of those, but if
10 milliamp
if you
hour.
think you're going to roll through a couple of them, or if you're not good about remembering to charge it, or you realize when you get to the park and you remember, oh, Matt and Ariel said I can get a battery backup somewhere at the park. You can. You can actually buy one there.
Yeah. So,
but I'll link the right ones. If you want to just get the ones you can exchange at resort properties for free, then I'll link it for you. So that's kind of the basics about that. I would say to Magic Kingdom, most underrated area is going over to Tom Sawyer's Island.
Oh, people have to do this.
Because it's so busy everywhere. And then you go on this raft, you go over to Tom Sawyer's Island, and your kids can't get off the island. And there's like this fort to play with, and there's picnic tables.
And you can strategically place. So there's two little islands, and they're connected by a bridge. If you take them across the bridge, there's some nice benches right there in the shade that you can sit back on. And in front of you is the fort. And they're the two roads that bypass that go onto the bridge are right there. It's the perfect place for two adults to just sit down, say, kids, go play on Tom Sawyer's fort and have fun. And we're just going to take 30 or 40 minutes and just kind of relax. It's the best place to go to relax, and while the kids are still having fun. And it's so shaded and it's so covered. It's Tom Sawyer's Island's the best. Yeah.
If you wanted to pack your lunch and you wanted to have a place to eat it, or your kids are getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I mean, right, this is a very stimulating environment. There's a lot going on, right? There's people everywhere, and there's rides, and there's noises, and there's characters walking through, and there's like a lot of stuff going on. Going to Tom Sawyer's Island is wonderful because there's almost no one there, because there's no rides or anything, and it's very calm. There's peaceful. There's pathways. There's like some caves that they can kind of go into and come out in a different area. It's pretty safe. There's bathrooms over there. Tom Sawyer's Island. When you feel that you just need a sanity break, just go over to Tom Sawyer's Island and hang out for a little bit, recharge your batteries, plug in your phone, recharge those batteries too, and just take a breather, because the Magic Kingdom is a long and relentless type of day. I will say, with this app and what we did with it, we did do the entire park in a day.
Which we were not planning on doing. Yeah.
We did not think we would do. We thought we would only do half the Magic Kingdom. We'd do the other half on another day. We were going to go. But because of having this plan and knowing when to get on things, and the other piece is the Genie Plus of it all. So let's talk about that a little bit. So
all these parks want you to pay to go
to
forward in the lines. The lines is the biggest thing. I mean, that's really what you're
they all want
battling.
you to do it.
And they know it, because they
do.
They're overstuffing these parks. They know people are going to wait 90 minutes to get onto a ride, and they want you to jump that line. Yeah. And so Disney's is called Genie Plus.
Disney's is called Genie Plus. You're going to see a couple of things. There's this whole like individual lightning lane they call ILL, whatever. And that's going to be just for like the two most popular rides at every park. And they just allow you to skip the line once for the day. They're going to cost you like $15 a piece for you to ride that ride just once. So if you want to really ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and you're willing to spend $15 a person, you could ride it once. I would say
get there early.
Get there early. You can just go on it without paying. in our experience, and did not go to Animal Kingdom, but we went to the other 3 parks. I don't think there's anything that was really worth $15.
Only one would be the Skywalker
Rise of the
Resistance.
But
I thought that might have been the only one.
Maybe. But again, you could just get there and do it first.
Yeah.
And then the rest of your days, okay. So that there's those. If your kids are dead set on doing something and you don't want to wait in line, you can buy your way through just those couple of rides.
Yeah, even at Epcot, the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, which was tremendous. Still don't know if I would pay that much money to ride it again.
I still don't know that, but hey, to each their own.
To each their own.
If you really want to go, and you can pay for it. Note that there's a couple rides, Tron at Magic Kingdom, Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot, that do something called virtual queue. And that means at 7 a.m. on the app, you have to get your spot in line. Now,
button smash.
It doesn't cost you anything. If you miss it at 7 a.m., you can get it again at 1 p.m. Not again, I'm sorry. You can only ride once per day. But if you didn't get it at 7, there is another opportunity at 1. But basically what it is you hit a button and it says your boarding group is going to be at 10:45 or whatever. And that's when they're going to call you back to then wait in line.
For about 30 minutes. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you don't wait in line. It just means that you have a time when you're going to wait in line. And they do this for the ones that are super duper popular.
Yeah.
So know that that's kind of a wild card. If you see a virtual queue, like, what the heck is that? That's what it is.
There's only a couple of them.
Right. There's only Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy. There's aren't any others. So the Genie Plus of it is a special service that you buy so that you can get to go in kind of the fast line or whatever, where there's less people. And basically it is an hour return window when you've said, like, I want to go on this ride, and it says, great, at 11 o'clock, show up and you get to go in the fast line.
It's between 11 and there's a little bit of grace period on either end.
You can go 5 minutes early of the time you're given and up to 15 minutes late. So just keep that in your mind. So the way that it works, you can't buy it in advance. So once you have your Disney tickets, I got mine from Undercover Tourist because they're an authorized retailer. I put them all in the app, all the barcode numbers or whatever, and then it was like, boop, all 4 of us were in my Disney Experience app and everything, and it knew. So what you have to do is before 7 a.m., I mean, you could do it anytime, but if you want to maximize it, before 7 a.m., you go online and you say, I'm going to buy Genie Plus for this park, whatever park it is, and it tells you how much it costs. I think the day we went, it was like $26 a piece at the Magic Kingdom.
Per person.
Per person. So totally worth it. So you pay that, and then at 7 a.m. you get to make your first selection of whatever ride it is. Not all rides have Genie Plus. Only some do. Most of them.
Most of them do, yeah.
And some of the character meet and greets, like meeting the princesses, do. So you go and you select it. Now, you can get another one at either the time you use the one you got.
They have very specific rules.
It's very specific. So let's say I get one at 7, and it's for 9:30. I can get another one at 9:30 after I use it. So the moment that you use whatever one you got, you can get another one. Or 2 hours after you've made your first one. So let's do 2 scenarios. I'm at 7 o'clock. I make one for 9:30. Great. Because I can go ahead and do my next one right away.
Yeah.
What if I made one at 7 o'clock and it was for 4 p.m. for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad? Well, what does that mean? I don't get to make any for the rest of the day? No. It means that every 2 hours,
Up until 4,
I get to
so 9,
do a new one.
11, 1.
Well, it's not actually 9 because it's 2 hours after the park opens. But, basically, yes, every 2 hours. And it tells you right in the app, it's called your Genie Plus on your tip board. It says, when you get to make your next one, you get to make your next one at 10 a.m. or whatever. So know exactly when you get to make it.
And the availability of these, accelerated access to these things are being consumed through the day.
They are.
So you can imagine, let's just take one park as an example, Space Mountain. One ride, Space Mountain. Space Mountain is going to say, has 100, just for numbers, right? 100 spread throughout the day across the 12 hours the park is open. Mm-hmm. And people are going to be gobbling up those 100. It could be 1,000, maybe like 10,000, who knows. But they're going to be gobbling them up so that the time starts getting pushed later and later in the day when you can actually grab it. Now, you used this app and the optimizing app to like perfection. And
Thank
where you normally would get maybe when you use the Genie Plus, you might get like 7 lightning
People
lanes.
normally get like 3 a day. Is
3 a
what
day.
they said.
You got like 12.
Right. So what I did with it.
You use it very strategically.
So what I did with it was we went immediately when we got into the park
Yeah.
to the Seven Dwarfs one, which didn't have a Genie Plus.
No.
But I had made my first one for Space Mountain, which has always got a long wait.
Yeah.
And I knew the only other long wait in the park was going to be
Thunder Mountain Railroad.
was Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
So and Thunder Mountain Railroad can get long, but Peter Pan gets super long because it's very slow to load.
Yeah.
It's like we did Seven Dwarves and we went right to Peter Pan.
Yep.
And didn't have to wait very long
Because
because
we
it
were
was
there.
early.
We were there at line drop.
It was early. Then we were able to go do our Genie Plus for Space Mountain. And at this time, I was like, okay, great. We've done all the rides.
3/4 of the big rides that we wanted.
Exactly. The only ride left, because Haunted Mansion never gets super long.
No.
But Big Thunder does. And at this recording time, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is the old Splash
Was
Mountain,
about to be opened, but
Wasn't
it had,
open
yeah,
yet.
we could see it. It looked really cool.
it did. So basically, I was able to say, oh, we knocked out all the really long waits. There's only one Big Thunder. And I looked at the forecast and said, we're going to do that late tonight.
Yeah.
And so what I was able to do from that point on, I grabbed lightning lanes for, or Genie Plus lanes or whatever, for like
The teacups.
simple things.
Little stuff.
People were waiting like 35 minutes for teacups. So what we just did was I would just grab whatever's close to us. I just grab the next one, the soonest time.
Yeah.
And then the moment that you boop yourself in with either a Magic Band or your phone,
Yeah.
you just could put it in Apple Wallet and you just double click and you put it in your Apple Wallet and boop, boop, boop. It worked fine for me. I did all 4 of us in one app. Yep. Or you can each get Magic Bands. You choose. But the Magic Bands, I think, are like $35 a piece.
Oh my God.
If you're staying at a Disney resort, they're nice because they can open your room and stuff. But we weren't, so it didn't matter. But so I just grabbed the next soonest one I could get. And then we just stacked them like that.
Yeah. And because the minute you consume it, you get to file for another one.
Right. And so I said, oh, hey, we're here at It's a Small World. Gosh, I can get teacups in 10 minutes. You want to just go do that? Oh, yeah, sure.
This is the scenario. We were going to go, okay, we're just going to wait for It's a Small World.
And it was like 25
minutes. But we had a lightning pass for the meet and greet for the princesses.
Oh, that's right.
And you're like, we can go right now to do the princess thing. And if I use that, I can then get It's a Small World Genie Plus line. And so
I looked at It's a Small World was for right now. I could get it for right now.
We went and did the princess meet and greet, finished that really quick, got out of that, and then we got the Genie Plus to go to It's a Small World, and we did all of that in less time than it was if we would have just gone into general queue for It's a Small World.
Right.
Like we were able to do 2 things in the time of one.
So if you do this and you want to kind of
Yeah.
And we did not run around the park.
We were not frantic at all.
We never were frantic. We stopped for snacks.
You just
and
stayed
potty.
up on it, and I think it was because you had done so much research and you knew what was coming. This is the thing. I think we were getting towards the end of the day. I started like in my mind adding up all the Genie Plus things that you had done, and I'm like, man, every single one of these is 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we've done like 8 of these. I'm like, you have saved us 3 hours of waiting in lines.
Right.
Just by managing these apps and you just gave everybody a great experience because we just didn't have to wait in line. And what did you buy us? You bought us the fact that we did the whole park in one day.
Right.
We probably did 80% of the park.
The only thing we didn't get to go on was the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Literally but it was closed for part of the day.
And we didn't do the
Astro Orbiter.
The Astro Orbiter or the riverboat one.
That's the river Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, no, but the riverboat ride.
Oh, the steamboat. Yeah,
steamboat.
That's not really. That was also closed.
It was.
The steamboat and the Jungle Cruise were both closed for part of the day, so then they became these huge lines. So yes, other than that, we did the entire park and we stayed for fireworks.
Yep.
Note on fireworks, it's really amazing, but it's
15 minutes long. Bail out at 12 minutes.
It's a huge crush of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can try to bail, but it was great. It was a wonderful day at the Magic Kingdom. It is a very full day. I would not say we rushed around, but if you do use your Genie Plus kind of strategically, if you can get there, I think if you get there early, ride the couple of big rides, and then you can spend the rest of your day picking off all the rest of them and snacking your way through the park.
And then a lot of the Like
this wasn't rewriting things though. That's
No.
the other thing. We
Yeah,
didn't
we don't redo things.
we didn't re-ride the big roller coasters. If you want to do that, just be prepared for some longer line waits.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with respect to waiting in line, let's talk a little bit about what you did at Universal. So everything that you've just talked about at Disney applies to Universal.
Right. The only difference is they don't have a Genie Plus. They have an Express, which allows you to get on each ride once per day, and it's like on the day we went, I think it was over $100 a person. So I just wasn't willing to spend that.
Yeah.
So just my daughter and I, my older daughter and I went. Everything applied. Get there early. Go on the rides. I used the app to tell me what the best time was to do it and make my touring plan for me and update through the day. I did the same thing.
And so at Universal, you got the 2-park pass, which is the Universal and the Islands of Adventure.
Right.
Why? Because
Right. So yeah, the problem is that they really get you because if you want to go,
Universal, you did it.
yeah,
You
if you want to go
sneaky
for
guys.
Harry Potter stuff, Harry Potter Hogsmeade Village with the castle is in Islands of Adventure. And that's got the Hogwarts Castle ride, which is extremely motion sick inducing. And so be really careful. I didn't go on it. I just sent our daughter on it. But a bunch of people, there was like warning signs everywhere that it's an extremely motion sick ride. It's a motion simulator type thing. But anyway, that's there. And then at Universal Studios, which is next door to Islands of Adventure, is Diagon Alley and all of that stuff. And they're connected via the Hogwarts Express. So
In both directions.
right, and there's different ride, and the Hogwarts Express is kind of a ride because there's like a screen and like Dementors fly outside. Anyway, it is beyond awesome. It's super cool. I'm so happy we did it, but you do have to do a park hopper, so it makes those tickets extremely expensive to go for the day. It makes them more expensive than Disney for the day because you got to go between the two parks. Everything applies. We did the same stuff. It's a little bit more difficult to make a touring plan because you have to make 2 different parks and you have to decide when you're going to go to each one of them.
Yeah.
When are you going to take the Hogwarts Express? So I kind of did different scenarios like, do I start my morning in Universal Studios and then move over at lunch to the other one? Or do I, so there was kind of that playing with it. I think a couple of things to remember. One of the most fun things about Universal Studios is that you can get a wand and then you can make stuff happen. They only talk in all the videos I've seen, and that's why I want to tell y'all. They've only talked about going to Ollivanders and having that experience. They end up choosing one kid who gets to have the experience of stuff flying off the shelves as they get chosen for the wand choosing ceremony. While I think that's great, what happens is in the morning, everybody goes there to get their wand so that they can play with all the things in the area and do this. And you actually do spells and stuff. It's like they have these
Leviosa.
Yeah, they have these medallions on the ground that show you the shape that you're supposed to make with your wand. So you stand on the medallion, you make the shape with the special wand, and it makes something happen in the shop windows and stuff.
And Ariel's expertly doing that right now in front of me.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. You guys can't see it. But everybody goes in the morning to Ollivanders to do that, and there's this really long line. What I didn't realize, and because my daughter wanted to go through every store, every shop, and we did, is that you can buy a wand in like several different stores. Yeah. You don't get to watch somebody have the Ollivanders experience, but you can just buy your wand and get started on it. So we did that.
And which wand did she get?
She got Ginny Weasley's wand, which I thought was a really good move.
I know. I kept telling her.
She's a Hufflepuff, so I was surprised she did that. But
I kept telling her, I go, you just don't know. She hasn't gotten to the end of the books and doesn't know that Ginny kills Harry.
He teases her. Every time he talks about it, he tells us something else wild that happens. She just finished book 5. I didn't feel that there were any...
No spoilers or anything?
I didn't really feel that there were any. There was a Triwizard Tournament rally. So they showed the students from Durmstrang and Beauxbaton, but they didn't... I don't think that they really spoiled anything.
That's good.
So I think it was okay. If you have a kiddo who is pretty early into the books, there is... The Gringotts ride is very good, and they do show Voldemort and Bellatrix and trying to break into a vault there. So you do see Voldemort. The Ray Fiennes version of him. So there's that part of it, but I don't think that they really spoil plot stuff in the books. They don't talk about anything with, headmasters or anything like that.
Certain people, yeah.
They don't talk about headmasters or potion masters or anything. They don't spoil any of that stuff. So yeah, really great. And you do have to do both the parks to get that experience. There's fabulous food. All the Harry Potter food was super awesome. And
Various versions of butterbeer.
oh, the butter beers. We had the cold butterbeer, the frozen butterbeer, and the butterbeer ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream, yeah.
It was all good.
Butterbeer 3 ways.
Yeah. So
Deconstructed butterbeer.
Universal was awesome. The only thing I will say is it's not very conducive to kids under 44 inches.
Yep.
And really being over 54 inches is really preferred, but definitely over 48. Like, just start looking at the rides. One of the reasons we did not bring our younger daughter is that while she could do the wand stuff, she couldn't ride hardly anything.
She could ride nothing, yeah.
She'd have to go to the Dr. Seuss land to ride things, and she would have wanted to do the Harry Potter stuff. So we just decided it was going to be a mom and older daughter day.
I took her to SeaWorld that day. Yep, and she had a good time.
So it was amazing. We loved Universal. I think there was lots of good stuff there.
It was a long day for you guys on that day, too.
It was again, we got there at rope drop. We left at the end. You can get in a ride line at the end of the day. Even if the line's going to go past park close, you can get in the line. And so we did get in the line for Hagrid's motorbike. And we waited in those a couple of times for an hour apiece.
So what did you do to pass that time?
You were brilliant. You told me to download a movie from Netflix onto my phone, and then I took my earbuds and I put in one and my daughter put in one, and we watched Mitchell's versus the Machines in line for a couple of these rides. There was just 2 rides that were amazing, but they had very long waits, the Hagrid's and the Velocicoaster.
Both were about 45 hour.
Yeah, like 55 maybe. They were both long. We just stood in line and watched a movie on my phone. Now, the key is you do have to log in to this while you're outside of the ride before you get in the ride line, because a lot of these lines don't have any cell reception.
Some of the buildings had issues with cell reception.
Especially like Hogwarts Castle, man. There was no reception.
When I was at SeaWorld, I had issues when I went to ride the Manta with my daughter, the older daughter.
Right.
Deep in that like belly of the aquarium that you walk through to get onto that ride, you lose cell reception.
Note that while Disney is awesome about backpacks, Universal is not really backpack land. So I had one. They do offer on the rides that are going to go upside down and stuff. They do offer free lockers, but they are very small. You gotta look at dimensions, make sure you're prepared. Because
but they don't
very small.
They even have metal detectors for phones and stuff too.
So
this is at Universal.
At Universal, there's a couple rides with metal detectors. Again, they provide you free lockers. So.
They just don't want your phone flying off at 80 miles an hour to hit some kid waiting for a hot dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for some of them, it was easy enough that I was able to keep my stuff with me for like half the ride line, and then before the metal detector, while you're waiting in line, they do pretty ingeniously. They put you in to get to use the locker, and then you get back in line and you keep going. Worked out really well. One of the things that I did get that I loved. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of rides where you're not allowed to take a bag, but you are allowed to take, like if you have pockets that zip or whatever, you could keep things in your pockets. Mm-hmm. I got a small runner's fanny pack. It's like super slim. It had enough room in it for my phone and my headphones. My iPhone, my earbuds, and that was it.
And your phone is also your wallet too.
Yeah. So I have a phone wallet case. So anyway, I had those on me, and I was able to zip those up. They actually fit under my shirt. So other than the couple of metal detector rides where you have to put everything away, I was able to keep my phone and my earbuds around my belly, under my shirt the entire day. And that, like you said, was my wallet too. I loved it at Universal. I ended up wearing it at Disney because it just gave me such a feeling of security. I knew I wasn't going to accidentally drop my phone out of my pocket.
And it wasn't because we were afraid of pickpockets or anything of that nature, but no.
No, it was just more that like your phone is everything, right? It's got your tickets on it. It's got my ability to pay for lunch. It's got our FastPass things on it. I mean, it was the center of everything. And to lose your phone at one of these parks would have been a nightmare.
Catastrophic, yeah.
Right. So having this thin little runner's belt around my stomach that I could just put under my t-shirt, and when I would get on a ride, like we went on the Mummy at Universal, which is amazing as well. Anything with a lap bar, I was able to just twist it to the side and then put the lap bar down.
Perfect.
So I didn't have to worry about accidentally, cracking my screen or any of that. but I still had that security of knowing it was there. And of course, we got to use it in line to watch our movie. The time passed so quickly by having it.
And we
in
did
line.
this together at Thunder Mountain Railroad, where I was with the little one, and I think I downloaded because we get we claim our digital copies of all the movies, that DVDs and Blu-rays that we buy. And so through our YouTube account, we get access to those. So I actually downloaded a couple of our own movies digitally to my phone through YouTube. And I was playing, I think it was The Grinch, the Illumination version of The Grinch. And we had a great time watching that. And 30 minutes goes by real fast.
And we saw several other parents looking at us going like, oh man, like that would have been a good idea. You don't have the reception there to actually watch a movie. You have to download in advance.
Disney had Wi-Fi, and I don't know about the other parks.
I don't know, but inside those ride lines, a lot of them, you don't get good reception in there.
No.
So the other thing to consider, we chose bright animated movies, which I think are really good because there's lots of places where the lighting is not great. Like you wouldn't want to watch a really dark movie. Mm-hmm. That's why I didn't download like a Harry Potter. Even though we have digital copies of those, I didn't want to do those when we were at Harry Potter World because I'm like, we won't be able to see these. Yeah. So choose something bright and digital. On the technology side as well, we should mention that we wanted to keep track of our children, and they're young. They don't have phones or Apple Watches or anything like that.
No.
We went ahead and AirTagged our kids. So we got these little silicone bands.
We actually had a mom ask us. We're like, what do you mean you're tracking your child? She was actually interested.
Right. We had a couple people ask us. So we had AirTags in this little silicone band that was like had a watch strap on it. And we could tell where our kids were all the time.
Yep.
Which was great in case our little one got lost. Our older daughter did a couple of rides a few times by herself because I do get a little bit motion sick. And so she went and did them by herself and I could see exactly where she was.
But it was also at places like Aquatica and stuff like that where we know it's a very safe environment and stuff. And we allowed our oldest to have a little bit more freedom. Like, hey, the bathroom's over there. You can go by yourself. We even let the little one go, watch her. But the older one said, hey, I want to go ride the big drop ride up on Aquatica. And we're like, okay.
Yeah, we could see the tower and we had her. And the AirTags, they work based on proximity to other iPhones. They don't need a plan or anything like that. And they're waterproof.
They're really nice inside parks where there's, a phone every 12 feet,
Right. They don't work great for the woods, but anywhere that's busy, also great for the airport if you have a runner. Our little one was a runner last year. We tagged her. Great for your luggage. We also did it for our luggage, so we knew
that our luggage got on our airplane. Yeah,
it's really cheap insurance, and especially if you're going to stay to one of these parks till nighttime when there's going to be fireworks and stuff.
Yep.
Boy, it's easy to lose one another in those crowds, and
especially when they really start wanting to get you out of the park. We got on the boat to leave Disney, and man, did they pack that thing. Like it was really packed.
My naval architecture background was a little concerned. But yeah, no, I highly recommend doing something with your kids, putting something on them. This gave us a good sense of security. So those were a couple things for Disney and Universal. Now, we talked a lot about Magic Kingdom because that was our big day, but let's talk a little bit about Hollywood Studios and Epcot.
Yep. So we did everything in one day at Disney and Magic Kingdom, and we decided we were already going to go to Hollywood Studios because we wanted to go to the Star Wars section.
Did.
We did,
and it was amazing.
And our little one, the youngest, was absolutely required that we went on Tower of Terror. That was her thing.
She did.
She loves the drop rides, and that was like the pinnacle of drop rides.
She did it too.
She
was tall enough, and she did it.
She grew to love drop rides when she first laid eyes on Unikitty, and then from that moment on,
at Legoland,
and it was drop rides from then on. But yeah, no, it was super helpful. The Hollywood Studios was a little bit hotter at that park. There's not as much shade as any of the other parks.
Yeah, be prepared.
Be prepared. That's a hot park, and I wish they would plant some more trees. Or a lot of the parks were putting up these giant sun sail kind of coverings, and so it was kind of funny at like Legoland. I felt like I could go through the whole Legoland park and not put on any sunscreen. Like it's really hard to get burned in that park because they have such good tree coverage and shade coverage and everything. It felt really good. Man, Hollywood Studios was hot. It was a hot park. It was also a hot day when we went there too. So
it was. It's really terrific.
I loved it.
We did the same thing with the Genie Plus.
We hit everything in that park.
Yeah, we did the rides.
That is a smaller park than United Kingdom, Magic Kingdom. United Kingdom, Magic Kingdom. It was the Hollywood Studios is a smaller park, but you are going to wait in lines a little bit more there.
You will, because there's not as many rides to absorb all like the Genie Plus people and stuff. So you are going to wait longer. There are more shows in that. The Frozen sing-along is particularly awesome. Highly recommend.
It was very good.
The Indiana Jones stunt show we all really enjoyed too.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun.
So there's some shows there to do. It is a little bit more of a low-key park. Of course, there is the Star Wars stuff. We found it a little bit harder to find food our kids were going to like at that park. Just because the Star Wars stuff is, while really cool, they mostly have food that the kids think is weird in the Star Wars area.
But was it the Ronto wrap?
Ronto wrap was really good. Ronto roasters.
Wrap, yeah.
Anyway, but you might want to pack an extra PBJ for Hollywood Studios Day.
Again, you can bring your own food in these parks. So.
You can definitely bring your own food. That's a park where you could definitely get away with a stroller if you needed one. It's not as crowded.
I would recommend a stroller on that park. Yeah,
it's not super big. So for that one, we didn't do a stroller because it wasn't a super big park, and we were able to walk it pretty easily. But I mean, you definitely could stroller it if you wanted to.
We found that we were crisscrossing that park a lot more than we got the same amount of steps at that park.
Yeah.
But it was maybe half the size as Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, it's not as big. I would say that.
And it is heavy on the Star Wars stuff. I mean, almost everybody, it feels like everybody's there for the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. I mean, our kids had listened to Star Wars stuff before we went. We were reading up Star Wars books. We did kind of a lot about that. They had a fabulous time with Star Wars stuff. So
the Rise of the Resistance, get there early so you can get there first. It's worth
do the Rise of Resistance. It was really good.
It's really good.
It was really fun. So that was a really fun park. We knew we were going to enjoy it. As long as we did the Star Wars stuff, we were going to be happy. Exactly. And we were. The Toy Story Land is also really cool. So then we ended up with a bonus day, and we were like, hey, what are we going to do here? So we
actually had to scramble. This is one of the things where
we were prepared.
We had to pivot. We had to go to all the YouTube channels that we had been using for weeks and months to prepare for the trip. We quickly watched all the videos we had to do it overnight because it was the day after we did Hollywood Studios. So we knew we had our Gap day, then we had the Hollywood Studios day, and then we went back to make a choice on what is the other park. It's either Animal Kingdom or Epcot. Mm-hmm. And we were like, we watched a bunch of videos and we kind of came to the conclusion. We said, hey, let's go to Epcot. And I think if you would have asked me at the very beginning of the trip, you said, okay, you're going to get an extra day at Disney. Do you want to go Animal Kingdom or Epcot? I would have just picked Animal Kingdom.
And I had to, even when we got the extra day, I was like, I guess we're going to, I told my mom, I guess we're going to Animal Kingdom.
I remember when I was a kid, Epcot was not like the cool place to go.
We never went when we were young.
No.
When we lived there, we were still like 22 when we lived there. And we never went to Epcot.
We were sitting there, we watched a bunch of the videos, and then we also told ourselves, we're about to do this around the world journey. Yeah. And half that park is like a dozen countries.
Yeah.
And this really feels like we could start as like a kickoff for our around the world journey.
Absolutely.
And we decided to go to Epcot, and I think it was the right decision.
Now, if your kids love animals, Animal Kingdom would be a great place to go. If we had another day, we would have done it.
I think we would have, yeah.
We only had 3. So we were running out of time on our trip. So yeah, we did Epcot, and that is one where you need a virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy. We did do the Disney Genie Plus thing, which again was helpful.
It was a little bit cheaper at Epcot.
And at Hollywood Studios, both was a little cheaper than Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom's the most expensive of all the parks. The Epcot rides are good. They're not as plentiful as the other parks. A lot of them are in some way science or technology based,
which is kind of cool.
There's inside the big Epcot sphere is actually this ride all about the evolution of civilization through like writing and technology and stuff. It was fascinating.
Well, it's funny because we were going through the ride, and it was all the ancient civilization stuff that we're doing.
Cool.
And Judi Dench is in our ear going, and here are the Phoenicians who invented our language.
Oh yeah, our older daughter was like, oh my gosh,
we know about that. We know about the Phoenicians.
So that, I think it's called Spaceship Earth. Was an awesome.
It's a little
ride.
dated, but it was really awesome.
It was worth it. And there's rides there's a bunch of stuff learning about the seas. There's a huge aquarium inside Epcot, which I just didn't realize. There's a whole thing about farming and learning to like live with the land.
There's
and
the space, the Journey mission to Mars
a bunch
rides.
of stuff about
Yeah.
space. And after you get through, there's a kind of two motion simulators, one that's less intense and one's more intense.
I would really advise, if you're even on the fence of being motion sick, do not go on the orange one. Go on the blue one.
Yeah, go on the less intense one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the less intense one. I do get motion sick, and I was okay.
I did
on
the
it.
orange ride, and I've got a stomach of steel. And I did the first time, it was fine. The second time, I was like,
We'd eaten a lot.
we
by
had
the
eaten a
second
lot.
time.
Yeah, there's a lot of more weight on that stomach.
But our little one did it too. The 4-year-old did the more intense one later in the day.
Yeah.
So, but there's after the space ride, there is a whole section where you can learn about space, and there's games, and
So much learning there.
there is oceans of learning at Epcot because there's a land pavilion, a seas, the space section. This is not even before you get into all the country pavilions. There's just those areas. I think Epcot's one of those things that's just like, it's like built for homeschool. There's so much to do. We felt like, wow, we weren't going to get to do this at all before.
Yeah.
Because we just did not have time. And now you could easily spend 2 days at Epcot.
I think we could have gone back to Epcot another day.
Absolutely. You could
Yeah,
spend
I didn't
one day.
I didn't realize it. And Epcot's a big park. It's a lot of walking.
Huge. So we rented a
Well,
stroller.
it's because it's the way it's shaped around the whole lake.
Right,
It's-
all the country
there's
pavilions around the
just
big
so
lake.
much walking. Yeah.
So if you are on the fence about a stroller, you do need one for Epcot.
Oh, I would have to.
We rented the $15 stroller, and for some reason, and I don't know how this happened, the 8-year-old decided that she wanted to play mommy and push the stroller
Oh,
all day.
we
It was a blessing.
we
Oh
we
my
were,
gosh.
we were taking open bets between the two of us. We're walking. She's like dancing, pushing her sister. I'm like, this isn't gonna last. You're like 1:30. I'm like two at the
Yeah,
most.
she was amazing.
She was like dancing and
was
pushing
awesome.
her sister. She loved it. I was like,
It was so
this is
cool.
great. Yep.
So we had just a ball at Epcot. Ha ha ha.
Yep.
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
But you could literally spend a whole day there doing the science and technology things.
And the food.
And then a whole day doing the country. So the country pavilions, if you go around, you've got Norway and England, Japan,
Morocco.
yeah,
the
Morocco,
US,
France,
Germany.
US.
There's China, Japan, and there's like a couple others.
Yeah.
It's like 12 countries.
So in France and in Norway, there's 2 rides, right? There's a Ratatouille ride in France, and then there's a Frozen ride in Norway. Oh, in Mexico.
And these rides get long.
Right. So you got to prepare and get your Genie Plus
So
stuff
we
going.
did the line drop. We ran to the first one.
Go
and
to
we
Elsa first.
And we got the Genie Plus for the other one.
For the rat-
So we knocked those
Ratatouille
2 out.
ride.
And then you had the virtual queue for Guardians. And after that, there wasn't really any
Nothing.
issue.
There wasn't anything to wait for.
This is not a ride park.
It's not. This is such a learning park, and the country pavilions are so incredible. Each one of them has buildings that are representative of that place. They have something to see. There's a temple in Mexico, and you go inside there, and it's a whole marketplace
It's
inside
like a
there.
restaurant too. Yeah.
And there's a restaurant. It looks like it's nighttime, and so each of these pavilions has a sit down, at least one, if not 2, sit down nice restaurants, and then they have quick service places where you can just get something to go, and they have
The sit down restaurants are pretty expensive, but the quick service food
Right.
was actually very affordable.
it was reasonable for what you got.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them had like shops too, where you could get like chocolates or sweets or just something like that.
So we
to
built
go.
a virtual Yum box.
Yes, we got
At the very
different
end of the
things
day, yeah.
from everywhere, and they had stores too. The Japanese store in particular was amazing. It was giant. It had so many different things.
Yep.
And then there had these little kid cot things where the kids got
These little
cards.
stations that you could go to.
Right. Every country had a station. The kids went and got the little card, and then the person there wrote something on it in their language. Those were less impressive to me, the kid caught things. They were kind of like, it was kind of a novelty thing.
But the girls liked collecting them. So the minute we hit a new country, they're like, "Where's the Kid Cot? Where's the Kid Cot?"
They were really excited.
And the Kid Cot is on the app, so you know right where it is.
You know where it is. So one of the things that's really cool about these pavilions, aside from the food, which aside from a crepe that did not have enough Nutella, was very good. All the food was very good.
All the food was
The
really
fish and
good.
chips was great. Aside from the food, which is awesome, everyone who works at the pavilions is from that country.
Yeah.
That's their country of origin. So you felt like you were just getting this real authentic experience. And it was cool because the kids could talk to these people. They could ask them questions.
Yeah, if you have a little bit older learner, you could try to maybe see if they can learn greetings in those languages and stuff. And it was really cool.
Epcot was terrific.
There were a lot less kids at Epcot. It was a lot more adults.
That's very true. So you're not going to find the big exciting rides. One thing I had heard people say was to do Magic Kingdom at the very end because of whatever number of days you're doing Disney, because everything after that is less than the Magic Kingdom.
I would say
I agree with that, but
Hollywood Studios was pretty exciting. So maybe if you're going to do Epcot, maybe do Epcot first and the 3-day pass.
Right. So I hear the Magic Kingdom most exciting thing, but I would also say you need to have the most energy for the Magic Kingdom. So like plan accordingly.
And we had timed it so that when we finished Epcot, that was the end of our 3-day thing, and then the next day was a down day, and then the next day was a travel day. So we had designed it so we had a down day coming out of that.
So like in a 3-day, I think you get 5 days to spend. I think in a 4-day, it's 7 maybe. If you want to push Magic Kingdom to the end, I would take 2 days off before. We did Hollywood Studios and Epcot back to back, and we both did them rope drop to park close. And our 4-year-old was fine.
Shocked that our 4-year-old survived both of those days.
She was fine, other than a little late night issue in the car one night when she had too much chocolate chip cookie. She was really good.
She was really good.
But she did 2 full days and was fine. So those ones definitely are not as intense, especially if you get a stroller and can push them a little bit. Mm-hmm. That Magic Kingdom day, it is a big day. And so definitely give yourself a couple of days before that if you're going to put it at the end of your Disney stuff.
Yep.
So those were mostly Disney things. But Epcot, I think, I was so blown away by Epcot.
It was really cool.
There was not enough hours in the day to do Epcot. I wanted to just stay longer and longer.
That's where the Disney Food blog lady came in really helpful. Epcot is all about the food, and they do a really good job at really pushing what you would expect at a park. We had a couple meals there that we were just like, I can't believe I'm getting this at a Disney park. Like, this is crazy. This stuff is really good. And it's not that expensive. I'm like, this is crazy. We had that chicken waffle thing from that bee place, and I was like, this is amazing.
Oh, yeah. So it ended up being the Flower and Garden Show when we were there.
Oh, that's right.
Which there's different festivals all year round in Epcot. Yeah. It didn't make it busier necessarily. It just... They had topiaries of all the famous Disney characters.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
And some of them were interactive. Like you get up to them and hit a button and they would do something. And
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, the one for the Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot he had the cassette tape, and then you could get up and kind of move with him, and then he'd start dancing and stuff. Okay.
Well, so they also had like little pop-up stalls of different foods that you could try, and they were quite exceptional.
Amazing.
I mean, everything at the parks is expensive. All the food's expensive. But
relatively, after coming off of what we had seen for weeks.
Still cheaper than SeaWorld. And the food was very good. So we felt like, well, yeah, that was pricey, but gosh, it was good.
We thought the food was better at Epcot, just looks like on a day-to-day basis, than was at the International Food Festival at SeaWorld.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
It was great. Of all the rides we went on, I would say for our entire time at Disney, our favorite one was Rise of the Resistance, but second favorite, very close.
Is that Guardians ride?
Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot was fantastic.
Probably the second best ride.
Very, very worth it for us. So overall, I think, in general, I probably wouldn't spend this much money to do this if I had a kiddo under 42 inches.
That's not worth it.
You can, but just know that there's a lot of things that they're going to be restricted from doing, because that 42 just felt, it was like the magic number.
Yeah.
So many things could be done at 42 inches. And younger than that, they do have like swap stuff where, you can go up to a ride with your spouse, and then one you can ride it while the other one holds the baby, and then you can flip.
Yeah.
But I think if you've got the little ones, our 4-year-old was still young enough to totally believe in all of the magic and fawn over meeting Anna and Elsa, and it was totally real to her.
Yeah.
But old enough to go on things and, be able to have the stamina. I think there's a lot of stamina required for these parks, particularly Magic Kingdom, but all the parks require a lot of stamina. Mm-hmm. So I guess this ended up being a lot more about Disney and less about Universal, because Universal is more of a straightforward thing. But there's a lot of nuance to getting through Disney. So one last thing I'd like to say before we kind of break. I know this is really long. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Matt, because you have to edit this. Sorry. Disney Springs is just a big shopping area, but it
yeah.
is free to go to, and so it can be a really fun thing to do.
A little pricey though.
Very pricey. Be prepared. The food is really, really pricey
But
there.
there's an excursion that we did that was
Right.
well worth it.
There's a fun Lego store there, and there's that fun Disney store we talked about.
Yep.
Yes. The excursion is at the very end of Disney Springs when you
The
get
top right side of it, if
when
you're
you
looking
get
at the map.
past the Christmas store.
Past the Lego store.
And yeah, it's at the end past the Christmas store. There is a boat launch there, and those are boats that take people to the Disney French Quarter and Riverside resorts upriver. Those are a 20-minute boat ride, and those do not require you to be hotel guests. You can just get on the boat.
And they're free to get on.
They're free. There's no authentication. So we walked through Disney Springs, and then we went to the boat and took the boat all the way up to the Riverside Resort. We ended up renting a 4-person bicycle, and then we had some beignets at the French Quarter restaurant.
It was great.
Some Mickey beignets that were quite good, actually.
Quite good, actually.
And we strolled these beautiful resorts, and then we took the boat back. So that's a really fun excursion. The other thing that's fun, if you want to grab a bus or have someone or have an Uber drop you off or whatever, at one of the Disney resorts that's on the Skyliner system, that's like these little gondolas. The Skyliner system goes between several of the parks, and it goes over the resorts, and it is also free. All the Disney transportation is actually free. Buses, the boats, the Skyliners. So if you want to do some fun things, make kind of a day of something and get a lay of the land and check things out and get to see bits and pieces of the parks, highly recommend using some of the Disney transportation because it's all free without any extra authentication. So take advantage of it because they're taking all your money anyways. So ride some boats.
We also did a little bit in Celebration, which is a little bit of tiny
the Disney town.
the
Isn't
Disney town or something like that. Right on the edge there, when you park downtown, there are some really beautiful walking paths. The bathrooms are locked, so you have to be a resident or something like that. So you may have to go into a shop and use the restroom if you need it. But some really nice walking paths there. We brought the kids to go scooting there like 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. Good pizza place downtown there.
Really good pizza place.
Really good pizza place.
But tons of walking and
tons of walking.
Like the little town you have ever seen that they built. It was gorgeous. And it was a lovely way to spend like a Sunday afternoon type
a couple
thing.
down days where you just need to get a little bit of walking and you want to just have a good time, get some sun and stuff. It was really nice. So those were kind of little excursions that we did.
Yeah, they're Disney adjacent things. They're kind of Disney.
It was kind of where we were staying. It was like 15-minute, 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
Also big word of warning. If you are driving a car, almost every road in Florida in the Orlando area is tolled. There are tolls everywhere.
Yeah, be cautious.
So be cautious. Understand the toll roads. Understand if you're using a rental car and how that toll road stuff works for you. Do be aware of that. But a lot of the roads are tolled. You're just going to wander onto a road and it's just tolled.
I know when I rented the car for the day that it was like you could go on any toll road and it was covered under one fee that I just decided to pay.
Pay up front, yeah.
So if they ask you on your rental car, do you want to pay the $15 cover all the tolls rate? You do.
Pay it, yes.
You do because it's they're everywhere. So yeah, be careful about that.
Did we cover everything?
Yeah, you got to pay to park. I mean, there's probably more that we didn't get to, but
every chain restaurant on the planet is around this area.
We're gonna link in the show notes. We're gonna link everything we talked about, the products we talked about, things we really liked. I know this is a huge data dump, you guys, and we probably talked so fast. I'm sorry. Slow this down to like 3/4 speed.
The funny thing is, we joked after we did the first one. We're like, man, we could have talked Legoland SeaWorld for 3 hours.
Well, right. And we were like, wow, we talked so fast. And now I feel like I did it again. I'm sorry, everybody. I talked too fast. But I felt like there was so much I had to tell you guys because I spent so long researching all of this.
There are some... I think the key thing more than anything are those YouTube channels. Find those YouTube channels. Find those videos on the parks.
Yeah, we're going to link them for you.
Make sure you check those out because those are really... Man, that's where the first place we went. Anytime we had to learn about something, what does Carissa and what does Frugal Brit say, and then what does the Disney Food Blog
those and
say?
Those books.
Yeah.
So I read those books kind of cover to cover, and I felt very prepared.
There were not a lot of curveballs after that.
These are not things that like you can just walk into and everything's well explained. There's just stuff you've got to know.
There's a lot of like subtle nuance in some of these things, and to knowing that up front, I think makes for a better experience.
Yeah. preparation is key here for our family anyways. And we hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about things like...
And homeschool, lots of homeschooling stuff.
I mean, go to Epcot. It's
Go to Epcot.
amazing. There's if I would have known we were going, I would have done a whole bunch of prep. But now that we have gone, the kids are asking to learn about some of the stuff that we saw there.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
I think it all worked out, and it was a great family trip.
It was a great trip.
So we appreciate you guys being here with us and sticking around for this very long episode.
The Boozer family vacation. Do, 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 do.
Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!